The film begins with a completely burning house and a semi-deserted neighborhood relatively far from the city, and in the same street, there is a young girl walking, to some extent fainted. And 8 years after the events of the first movie, the events move us to the success of a girl in escaping from a predatory dog in the middle of the forest and arriving to a car with a gun. Norman grabbed her and told her that she had failed the test and that Norman would be Phoenix's father. The little girl, who trains her in ways of survival and self-reliance. And after they returned home, Phoenix asks her father how there is no picture of her mother, the one who passed away, because she obviously misses her, and Norman tells her that there was a fire in the old house 8 years ago and everything in the house was destroyed except for Phoenix, the only one who was rescued. Phoenix asks Norman to let her go to the city because she has not gone for a long time, but he refused because she failed the test, and when she passed, she could go with Hernandez, Norman's only connection to society. Hernandez somehow persuaded him to allow his daughter to go to the city, in order to entertain herself and forget the isolation she is in. So he allowed his daughter to go with her, and because Hernandez loves Phoenix, she took her to her mother's old house, which was burned. But Phoenix felt that there was someone in the place even though it was completely deserted. So she returned to the car. While they were on their way to the city, a dangerous gang was announced that kidnapped children for the purpose of their organs. So they're warning people because the search is still going on, and in the meantime, Phoenix is playing alone in the garden. So Hernandez called her, because they were late and they must return. So Phoenix asked permission from Hernandez to go to the bathroom, and after she finished, she finds a strange man behind her, and he wants to get to know her, and before he makes any move, he finds Phoenix's dog, and he is ready to attack. Phoenix returns to a car and they leave the place, but the man insisted on tracking them, and after she drove her home, Hernandez completes the way back to the city and finds a car blocking the road. So she decides to carry a weapon and go to the owners of the car and tell them to step aside and that she has a gun in case they think of attacking her. And after she returns to her car, someone suddenly comes out from her side and hits her with a hammer until she dies. And back to Phoenix, she is angry from her father because he prevented her from going to school and get friends, and he told her that he lost a girl, and he will not lose the second, and that she is not alone because he is with her. At the same time, Norman's dog is guarding the house, but he senses something moving in the forest. The dog went to make sure, so the gang appeared in front of the house, and Norman was looking for his dog, but there was no trace of him. At the same time, the gang entered the house and knew that Norman was a blind man and could not see them. One of the gang members went upstairs and Phoenix was hiding under the bed, after she felt that there was a strange movement in the house. Phoenix was able to hide under a cupboard and distract his attention by watch to escape from the room. And turn off the light, and try to hide anywhere in the house until she ended up in a room down the stairs. Meanwhile, Norman was able to find his dog, but he was dead and knew from a bullet that he was under attack. So he quickly returned to the house to save her. Phoenix tries to escape from the back door of the house, but Jim stops her. Suddenly, Norman grabbed him from the window, telling his daughter to hide in the iron box. So he released him because he hit him in shoulder. The gang starts looking for the blind man, so Norman is in the garage and one of them follows him. So Norman deceived him and stick his mouth and nose so that he does not breathe. Jim comes to save his friend after Norman escaped from a window and sought to reach the room which Phoenix and Duke are, and by touching a water pipe, you know that they were pouring water into the box in which the Phoenix was, in order to force her to go out or die by drowning. So Norman locked the door and Duke knew that he was with him in the room. So Duke took a power cord and put it in a box in order to threaten Norman, and Norman threw a gas bottle to prevent Duke from using the gun or the place would explode, and Duke put the weapon. So Norman came out of the darkness, and the fight begins between the two. And during this fight, he opened the tap by mistake, and the water continued to rise towards the power cord. And Phoenix was trying to open the door, but she couldn't, and at the same time, Norman fell to the ground and felt the power cord under his hand. He pulled it, and found Duke coming towards him carrying a knife. So he acted immediately and hid behind a table and threw the power cord on his table towards Duke, causing a spark, and the place exploded. Norman managed to save his daughter. And the gang tries to open the door with the leader, and when they came down and found Duke burned. Norman arrived at the nursery, and when they followed him, Ray, the leader of the gang, started talking and saying that she shouldn't be afraid of them, but she should be afraid of Norman the liar, so he went out to beat him. But the gang beat Norman until he lost consciousness. There is a dialogue between Phoenix and Ray says that he is her father, and he spent 8 years in prison, and that she did not recognize him because she was very young, and that Norman found her and decided to raise her as his daughter, and that he was the one who was in the burned house, and then Ray orders the gang to kill him, but he was able to escape again, so the gang was looking for him, while Phoenix was with Jared. She hit him in the leg to escape, and before he hit her, Norman came and killed him, and entered the house with Phoenix. Then Ray came and found Jared killed. So he decided to release his dog inside the house to kill Norman. Then Norman heard the dog, so he hid her in the room and went up with the dog behind him. Phoenix came out a window towards the forest, but Arwol caught her and drugged her. After he saw that he took his daughter, he decided to burn the house completely. So they burned it, and then they went. Norman managed in that moment to save the dog and himself. And returning to Ray, who arrived at his house and began to tell Phoenix about her real name, her date of birth, and all the information in order to be convinced that she is his daughter. But Phoenix wanted to go, so she came out of the room and found the Dr. Thomas, and before she came out she heard a woman behind her. She sings the same song that her mother used to sing to her when she was little. So the woman told her that she is her mother. Phoenix was convinced and stayed with them. And her mother told her that she was dying because of the gases of the fire, and that she did not have long time. So Ray offers juice to Phoenix, and while she is talking to her mother, who tells her that she should donate her heart for her, Phoenix fainted because of the juice, and at the same time Norman wakes up in front of his burning house, and he has a Ray's dog, so he used it to guide him to the way Ray's home, while Dr. Thomas prepares to perform the operation. And before the saw touches the Phoenix's body, the electricity in the entire building was cut off. Jim went down to check, and when the electricity returned, he found Norman standing behind him. So he tries to kill Jim, but he confronts him. And in a clever way, Norman managed to put a bell in Jim's mouth, and when he tried to escape, he hit him in the head because of Bell's sound. Ray heard everything and made sure that the blind man's coming, so he sent all his gang members to kill him, including Raoul, who opposed the idea of killing a child from the beginning. When they reached the room, they found Norman sleeping as if he was dead, in the middle of the water, and when they approached him, Norman sensed the waves of the water, and he could locate them and kill them. Except for Raoul, who didn't walk on the water, so he couldn't locate him. Raoul told Norman that they were going to kill Phoenix, and he did not agree. Raoul helps Norman reach them. Meanwhile, Thomas and Ray are in the swimming hall trying to escape from the front door, but suddenly Thomas disappears and Ray tries to fill the place with light to see clearly. When Ray approached Thomas, he found him with a gas bottle. The gas spread in the place, so Ray could not see clearly, and he started shooting randomly until he hit his wife and she died. And the chair is moving towards the deep pool and Phoenix is stuck with her. So Phoenix tries to cut off the woman's hand, but she failed, and she fell in the pool. And the fight continues between Ray and Norman until Norman grabbed Ray's head and he said to him, "You will see what I see." Then he made him blind like him, and Phoenix came from the pool and Norman told her the truth, and that he is a bad person and she should stay away from him. And then Ray woke up and hit Norman, and before he killed him, Phoenix came and killed Ray, and she trying to criticize Norman, who became a father according to her, but he died. So Phoenix returned to the children and introduced herself by name. Norman gave her Phoenix.